Brainiacs, yeah, man. What is up with everybody tonight? Ooh-wee. It feels like Super Bowl Sunday because I know damn well we're gonna be like kicking some doors, rattling cages with this, bro. We're joined with our NASAnon on the other side of things here, so you guys just grab yourself a cup of coffee, sit back, relax, enjoy the conversation. We're gonna talk about his topic. He came up with it. It is when international law means nothing. Oh boy. Oh boy. The alternate stream is down here in case, it gets booted. Just letting you know. Just letting you know ahead of time. So if things just come to a screeching halt, go over there. Go right there. Okay? We're going to talk about the difference in application of law between those that commit the crime and those that, expose the crime. We see this, right? The way I see it, my own self is, we're coming enlightened and awakened. And I'm going to show you a graphic I made earlier. I cannot wait for the warriors to wake up. Absolutely cannot wait for it. Because in my book, what is good for the goose is indeed, no doubt, good for the gander. Don't go anywhere. Share this broadcast. Share this podcast. See you on this side, man. Let's go. It's go time.
What do you say, brainiacs? You guys ready? It's time. It's showtime, brains.
Let's head on over to the DOD office.
That's
Yeah?
right.
What do you think? DOD? Oh, are we?
It's
Are
Matrix time.
What up, fellas? What up,
It's go
fuckers?
time.
Hello.
Welcome aboard, everybody. Let's go. We're going to talk about ufology, conspiracy, controversy, and anything and everything that we can get into tonight.
Anything and everything that can get our asses in trouble. Let's go. What's up, Miss Morgan Roundtree? Crank that shit
Yeah,
up,
baby. Yeah.
Mr. Socrates.
Mr. David Godby.
Miss Barbara Borchers. Hello. Hello, Bethany. Let's get it, Bernie.
Crank it up, brainiacs. Yeah. It's definitely your show. Your show, and we appreciate you for being here. Buckle up, everybody. Welcome aboard.
Whoa! Yeah. Oh, shit! Let's roll right over here. Not to this screen. Not to this one. But to this one. Right. Yeah. Oh, boy. It's going to be an interesting discussion. Mr. NASAnon. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Oh man, I'm a little beyond tired.
Beyond tired. Are you stoked?
I usually get up about 4 a.m., so I'm a little beyond tired. And this week has been pretty draining. I've been invested in all these court hearings, and it's a lot of watching boring, evil people defend a lot of evil shit. How are you doing?
I'm doing just peachy, dude. I've got myself a glass of ginger ale. Kick back here. I'm about to grab a chew. And I had a pretty good day. Day went all right. Waiting for you to get on here and tell me what you wanted to talk about. What's up, Mr. Mike Pyle? Yo!
I don't want to talk about any of this stuff, man. I wish it wasn't happening. I wish it was a daydream, but for people like us especially, and anyone who's listening who likes to enlighten others and awaken others, we really have to think: is this going to be our fate? Are we going to ultimately reap the same rewards that we're seeing, the largest truth tellers of our time getting, or has it just always been this way? Really, really drives you to be motivated and help people. But yeah, it's kind of driving me nuts.
Do you remember me telling you about the screen I made that I am so very, very proud of? Remember,
That one, that's cool.
Bro, let me share.
Yeah, like going into the Matrix.
Look at this screen that I made. Dude, you know what? This right here says a million words.
Oh no, that's on point. Yeah, no, definitely.
Look,
that's up there with that picture of the baby that's been hit with white phosphorus. That's up there.
Well, we're getting there. Check this out, bro. Look at this.
It almost looks like a dragon in the flames too, like just something that can't be destroyed. Wow, that's pretty intense.
Check this one. We're trying to get some word out here.
No, absolutely.
An image that says a million words right here.
You know what really gets me is that, once you learn the truth, or the truths that at least I know at this point, it's really hard to keep a clear stomach and a clear head. Like, knowing the reasons why doesn't really help. And people think it does until you learn why.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
That's a good one.
The thing that bothered me the most whenever I was waking up, or I woke up, I think I myself had a hard wake up. Mom, I'll tell you right now, my experience, my DMT experience, put me between knowing reality to knowing the metaphysical, spiritual side of things, to then after that, waking up, the WikiLeaks files come out, all of that shit. I'm going, what in the hell? I mean, back then it was the Pizzagate, right? Blah 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 blah, and I'm going. I knew. In my heart of hearts, I already knew, right? And the more you read the wiki files and the dump, dude, the more the more you want to just, I have rope. Who wants to build the gallows? Let's fucking take out some trash.
Yeah, you just gotta have a good sense of humor about it. I'd say ask the French, but the people of India, Belgium, France, they're all dumping fucking metric tons of crap on their leaders' buildings to make a very clear point. And let me just say, every uprising movement, every legitimate uprising movement, really props to them. The French Yellow Vest movement has really kept it going. They haven't backed down or anything, and that's spread around the world. The Indian farmers movement, especially the ones against Bill Gates and his GMO contagions, props to them, and props to everybody for the last 4 years who've stood up, gone out, and put themselves at risk of so many things that we now know and just coming to light. Because now we see that, the benefits really are your life. If you make an impact, you're risking your life. That's really what's happening now.
Do you see that?
No, absolutely. It's like I tell people, Nazi pedophiles don't change their habits. How are people going to defend a certain nation when they employed Jeffrey Epstein and still employ Ghislaine Maxwell and people like that?
Mm-hmm.
How can they defend it? How can these people call themselves beings of light, or even Christians, chosen ones, when they sit there and they defend a nation that leads the world in something like child organ trafficking? Are you kidding me?
Oh, man.
So I'm not going to name names, but if you just look it up, you'll find exactly who it is.
Corporations. You were talking, it's not just people. It's corporations. Right?
Well, corporations are people by law, and people have been incorporated as businesses by law. There's a reward for, getting rid of your American citizenship and becoming a citizen of the world, but it costs you money to get rid of that citizenship. However, your birth certificate is your incorporation as a maritime conscript. So at that point, you're basically a deckhand. And then your social security card is given to you as your corporate number. And then the value of cashing in your American citizenship is whatever you're projected to make in your entire lifetime. So that's at least $1 million for every person. So, I mean, that means every human in America is worth $1 million. And when you realize that 34 trillion that we're now in debt, 35 trillion, is a direct adverse to the value of human life in America. So, the American lives in America are worth 35 trillion right now. That's why we have this debt. That's how it incorporates, because it's all based on the amount of money that we can make in our maritime incorporation and British accreditation law, in maritime war law, which we've been in since the Civil War.
Barbara Borcher says you're frozen. I'm gonna tell you right now, Barbara. If it does what it's doing, right, there's the alternate stream. We don't need to be all this pretty bullshit up in here. Just saying. This little chat is for you. Okay? This is for you. So I'm just saying, if at any time that Facebook decides they want to kick us off air, by all means, we've got our own private server, and I'm thankful that we do. And we will head right on over there and continue the chat feed. I mean, I'm done playing with Facebook. I mean, you guys got to remember, I myself am on a 30-day ban. Can't say shit for talking something about suicide. Now, you guys know me better than
I
that.
just want to point out, we never said anything of the like. I can get a little dark and dreary sometimes, just because I know how ugly this gets.
Right.
Or I have an inkling. I've watched enough horror movies. I've watched enough Nazi horror and eugenics horror to know how bad this can get.
Mm-hmm.
Like Repo, the genetic opera level, serious shit, turning, humans into bionic weapons, or biological weapons, or combination of the two. But at the same time, I would never recommend anyone giving up. Fight.
Yeah.
But in defense of you, Matt, I remember when we first talked about it, we would have streams, and they would say that there was nudity when there wasn't anything of the sort. It's just your thing.
Right.
So, I mean, unless they think your head looks like a tit, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about, because I don't see no nipple. But yeah, they flagged you for shit that was total bullshit. Nudity, stuff like that. I mean, profanity, yes, I do say fuck a lot, but that's just who I am. But no, I got to give you props, because they were doing everything to flag you for things that weren't even happening. Like, how did they get nudity from one of our live streams? It's literally impossible.
I don't know. I truly, I don't know. This past one, like I said, was 30 days in the gulag for sharing something about suicidal tendencies or some shit. I don't know, but I'm like,
that's a band name. What? Somebody did the lyrics to "Suicide is Painless" in the chat, and they flagged it. I mean, this is all AI.
Yeah,
this is all algorithms flagging things and looking for reasons to target. But remember how the AI is being taught to target. It's being taught to target resistance. Right.
Well, check this out. Here, what you just said, target resistance. At this moment, I don't know any single son bitch that is not part of the resistance. I don't. So now what? Are you know what I'm saying? You can't just remove everybody.
No. And that's the thing. That's why they know they lose. That's why their religion always loses. Because when you have to advertise your crimes to your victims, and you have to risk literally every time you commit a crime against your victims, you have to put your own neck on the line every time. You will eventually have a bad luck day. You will eventually roll a nat 1. You will eventually roll snake eyes. And that guy with the pie should have had a knife. Because, at that point we'd have a lot less solar radiation management and sun dimming going on. It's just moments, really. And, I don't really have a problem with people taking out people who are actually Nazi pedophiles. If they earn that title, then they earn the reward that comes with it.
Neither do I.
I say you know, we make treason punishable by death again, because people seem to have forgotten that's the whole thing, you know? Like, that's the reason it should be a risk to get into political office. Because if you betray your people, as we see ourselves getting betrayed all week long, all year long, all decade long, all life long, for those of us who really know that we were born into this, yeah, no, that resentment is bottomless. It's literally equivalent to the depth of your soul. And when you see people like Julian Assange or Edward Snowden, or that one guy they just sentenced to 40 years for, you know, helping Assange.
Ryan said it
I gotta share something.
was some shit out there, and then suddenly the Mayans disappeared.
That was sent to me. You guys, you're gonna laugh your ass off this, okay? I seriously, you are gonna laugh your ass off. Everybody, Socrates sent this to me, and I'm like, bro, we have absolutely got to share this content. I know this is like not on the topic, but before I forget it, which I will forget it if I don't play it, let me go over here. I'm going to go over here to my share screen, and I'm going to share this. And Dave, Socrates sent this to me, so I'm like, I will play this. This is absolutely hilarious. So check this out. Let me bring not that one. All right, so let me refresh this screen real quick. There we go.
It was some shit out there, and then suddenly the Mayans disappeared. Now, they tell us the Mayans disappeared because they can't find none of their fucking bones. But let me remind you that you can go to any motherfucking museum anywhere in the world, and they got a whole 62-foot dinosaur from his nose all the way to his nutsack and his toes 5 billion goddamn years ago. Mayans said it was some shit out there, and then suddenly the Mayans disappeared. Now,
dude, that right there had me busted. I have never laughed that hard in a long time. I almost pissed myself whenever Socrates gave me that. So Socrates, thank you, thank you for giving me that.
No, Cat Williams is the bomb. I don't know if you ever watched the Boondocks, but he plays a pimp named Slickback and several other, you know, really riley guys on that, and he has the pimp's prayer on that. But yeah, he is a dude in a purple suit on that show, and he plays a pimp on the Boondocks, and it's one of the best things ever. So if you ever get a chance, you know, the thing about the Boondocks, it was written by someone from the same area that I'm from, the same area that Dave Chappelle's from, you know, where you're in a rough neighborhood, but it could be a little bit worse. So yeah. And I don't know if you watched the Cat Williams video where he was exposing all these, you know, Hollywood people like Kevin Hart and whatnot for what they are and what they've become and how corrupt they've become. But that was a really good interview he did a couple weeks ago.
I haven't seen it, dude. Did you send it to me?
No, I didn't, but it's definitely out there. Cat Williams interview. He's on some big podcaster show, but he gives about an hour and a half long interview. It's prompted other celebrities like Monique to come forward and talk openly about sick people like Tyler Perry and whatnot. He's another dude that got openly roasted by the Boondocks for being a freaking weirdo. Yeah, the Boondocks is a great source. It was done by Aaron Rodgers. I mean, not Aaron Rodgers. Wait, no. God, I can't remember the kid's name. But
right.
Yeah, he went to the University of Maryland. He's from the DC inner city area, so he knows how corrupt politics is. And the thing about the Boondocks, it was a cartoon strip before it was actually a raging cartoon. And if you ask, you know, any minority, that's like the main thing. They predicted COVID rhetoric. They predicted COVID protocols. They predicted a lot of the things Obama did. Their predictions are so on point that the whole show is worth watching. And they put a lot of people in code, especially the famous down low weirdo actors and rappers, the ones that, you know, are just getting outed right now, like Cat Williams did with P. Diddy on this interview. Kevin Hart, he really exposed a lot of these dudes that are pretending to be strong, but they're actually on the down low all through Hollywood.
I think that a lot of the Hollywood actors, authors, musicians, it's like they've got to be on the download. They're either being bought out, signing their soul over to like the machine, right, or they've got to remain on the download because they know about the machine, right? You know, they're
Well, for a lot of these people like Lil Wayne, back in the 90s and early 2000s, there was a guy named Eben Gregory doing his report called the Jewelry Report. Hilarious watching. But he would get all these open photos of Lil Wayne and Birdman kissing on the mouth. And so they got called out. Boondocks even did an episode about this, and Lil Wayne got renamed Gangstalicious, and Birdman basically looks like Birdman in this cartoon, and they're down with the thuggin' love and whatnot. So in this show, the Boondocks, Gangstalicious gets all these bad hoods wearing purses and girls' pants and skirts and stuff. And now look around at the hip-hop community, purses, skirts, and stuff. And they called this like 15, 20 years ago. So these guys have already been, shown for what they are in a lot of this, like, not so mainstream, stuff like the Boondocks. But it's really worth a watch. From the first episode, you'll be hooked. And plus, John Witherspoon plays the granddad, and rest in peace, John Witherspoon. But he was a powerful voice in the Black community. And as Cat Williams said in that one interview, said, we will never be the same without John Witherspoon. Things have just not been the same without John Witherspoon. And anybody that knows the power of that man and how funny he is, yeah, they know exactly what I mean.
What was the you and I were talking off air, and you asked me if I watched a specific movie.
Dark City.
That what exactly is that?
Okay, Dark City is your show, The Matrix Minds, the movies, especially the first Matrix. A lot of the scenes in the first Matrix were actually taken from the movie Dark City. It's with Rufus Sewell, Kiefer Sutherland, Jennifer Connelly, and it's an all-star cast, especially if you're into horror. A lot of these people you will recognize, especially the Hat Men that are walking around. The Hat Men are all possessed by an archonic parasite that lets them control reality around them and control the minds of other people around them. And Kiefer Sutherland plays a doctor who reprograms people's memories at night as these Hat Men completely change reality around everyone. It's one of the best sci-fi movies that's ever been done. Jennifer Connelly has two of the most beautifully sung songs in there. The Night Has a Thousand Eyes and one other. But it's a must-watch for anyone. For anyone. The ancient spiral that's found on every ancient site that I still think signifies the portal phenomena going on in real time today for the last 30 years openly in our skies is all over this movie. It's a main programming method of this movie, and it's actually what I think a lot of reality is this giant experiment, this giant dark experiment with humans at the center of it. But yeah, it's just one of those must watches for anyone that thinks like we do, just because it explains a lot and it shows a lot of real deep and honestly rooted programming from what we found at ancient sites and from what people go through on a supernatural and metaphysical basis over there.
With what you just said, right? I want to throw this out there because there's a lot of people that are stuck on that balance, right? They some of them believe in let's just say Christianity, diehard Christianity, right? But yet they don't believe in aliens, or some of them believe in aliens and they don't believe in that history was manipulated, we were all lied to. What is your take on the separation, the divide?
So people, if you ever notice when you divide people up, they will always break down into groups and start pushing some people out and pulling some people in. The movie The Mist really covers that really well, as does the book. That line is consistent. Like when you put people in a closed, dark environment and scare the shit out of them. They will do anything just for an answer. And people have been put in the dark for so long. We've been hunted, um, basically hunted and bled in terms of my bloodline and a lot of people's bloodlines. And the blood has become so mixed between Rh negatives and Rh positives. And remember, Rh negatives and now extinct humanoid species, they were all hunted down in the Druid hunts after the Ashkenazi assimilated Ramses III, after they took over his court and became the Magi. You know, these hunts have been going on forever. And so humanoid blood, you know, there's so many of us that have mixed blood out there. And within that blood are the genetic memories of our ancestors. And the fact that many of those ancestors have been hunted down, tortured, and traumatized in different ways, all those memories carry through. And, you know, they say we only remember about 6 generations back, but what about those with higher energy levels and higher energy potentials? How far back do we remember? And there's not enough of us to do the proper experimentation without actually talking to each other and getting on that level to get those numbers. You know, we can only go from our own personal experiences in that sense. So, you know, we know there are at least 15 humanoid species that have inhabited this earth, and Denisovans were 7.5 feet tall. They had multiple rows of shark teeth, and they invented lithium-ion batteries at least 5,000 years ago. But if one came up to the average human right now, they would freak the fuck out.
Oh, yeah.
And think it was what? An alien or a demon based on their preferred programming. And that's what you have to remember. These are all methods of preferred programming. What do you want to believe? And then your own confirmation bias with that westernized ego that makes so many of us sociopaths for at least a point in our life, sociopaths and psychic vampires. I know that's in my experience. You know, you have that ego that's driving us all. And of course, that's going to put us into dark places because that's where the easiest access to power is. Dark places from dark promises from dark entities that are all around us all the time. You know, and if we have a fear-based society, that's what they're going to feed on, because if they're everywhere, otherwise they're going to starve. Humanity doesn't actually have enough love to give these creatures to sustain them, and I still don't think we're native to this planet. I think we're chimeras. I think we were created by other geneticists, just the same way we're creating monkey humans and tardigrade humans and sheep humans right now. You know, you've got the 5 chimeras created by science. That's something everyone should look up. Because if that's the ones they're admitting to, what haven't they admitted to? And if those are the ones they perfected, how many failures did they have? Those failures mean thousands of human lives. Thousands of human lives. Okay, so Christ, the word Christus is Sumerian in origin. It means chosen ones, anointed ones, they of the blood and water. And the reason it's called they of the blood and water, it correlates to the finding of a group of people floating on top of the Baltic Sea. And then the title Fishers of Men became known because these people pulled these floaters to the shoreline and quote unquote rescued them from the highly salty Baltic Sea, which otherwise would have consumed them. You can find the recent scientific findings that are baffling scientists. Harmonic levitation devices as the Baltic Sea dries up being found in the sand right there next to the pages of the Book of Enoch and the books of the Nephilim. So you tell me, because I know all those things are worth at least $1.1 million on any open black market, any day of the week, and it's one of the biggest draws for any kind of smuggler or hijacker of ancient antiquity right now. The Book of Enoch and the Book of the Nephilim and any other lost pages that are being found in the Dead Sea area.
Larry just shared this with me in my private chat. Altered States. You ever seen that movie?
Yeah, it's a great movie, but you have to remember what he becomes in the end, you know, and what he goes through in that process. But that movie will stick with you, especially if you've done any hallucinogens in your life, you know.
Here's another one he shared. This is the one that you and I talked about right here, Dark City.
Yeah, that's probably one of the best movies to really explain a lot of the metaphysical issues, or at least bring them into a discussable scenario, because it also talks about the human potential. They call it cuning in this, but it's their ability to harvest and change reality around people, to literally change forms. around them. But they're still stuck being a parasite themselves. It's ironic. So when this human manifests the ability, it becomes an immediate threat to their entire structure, and that's a direct, allegory to what's going on right now.
Larry also, this dude like shares shit that is off the chain. He drops in the chat, scientists interested in cannabis as a subject of pharmaceutical studies may find it unlikely a new home for their research into the plant itself. This byproduct and or biochemistry aboard an international space station. It's aboard an international space station. So I guess they're trying to grow. They're trying to grow marijuana in space. Is that what this shit's about?
That's not hard. They found space weed. It's
Nah.
not a Cheech and Chong joke anymore. They found, because THC at its very nature is crystalline. It's not a flower. It's a crystal. If you remember, everything once you get down to the particle basis is crystalline.
Right.
They're all little crystal pieces. And so THC is a crystal, not a plant. And so as soon as they found a meteorite with crystallized THC of high potency on it, they were like, holy crap, this is space weed. We can grow weed in space. And because of the pressure in space, the crystallization will probably be unprecedented. You can also do the same thing with psilocybin. If you crystallize psilocybin, you can eat it, and it doesn't make you trip as hard, but it's a different kind of high. It's like way more intense, way more epiphanous, and it almost feels pure. But if you know anything about, hallucinogens, the tighter the crystal, the better the effect. You know what I mean? That's the way it works.
I'm trying to. I gotta find my thing here. I gotta reset that camera.
Larry's observation just now is right on point. Except they would be one-day cities. You get to live for one day as one human being. Maybe it was for 12 hours at a time, because the sun never rises in Dark City.
What? Did I miss something? Oh, okay. 15-minute cities with consciousness transfer technology.
That's a good description of Dark City.
We've taken, dude. Me and Larry talked last night. We talked for 3 hours. I get on a rant. I'm searching, studying for shit. He's searching and studying for shit, and then we collab. He's on the phone with me, and the things we talk about are absolutely off the chain, dude. It's unreal. I love talking to this cat.
No, he's on point. That's one of the reasons I wanted to make sure I was in the chat, is so I could actually, interact with people and see what they were saying, because
Right.
You had so many smart observations that it was hard for me to keep up. But no, I mean, your listeners are freaking great. I do notice, and I don't know if other people are noticing this as well, but other people are waking up at an accelerated rate. Remember that it's been incidentally proven that when enough creatures of a specific genus, learn something, all the creatures of that specific genus, i.e. on that specific wavelength and frequency around the earth, learn that thing intuitively. This is how knowledge accelerates within our mind. It's why we're able to reverse engineer ancient technologies from 15, 30, 45,000 years ago with such speed. This stuff should take us hundreds of years, but we've done all this within the span of 100 years.
I cannot wait until these warriors wake up to Larry's, Yvonne's, Lee Grantham. These guys, these are our old school. Their give a fuck is broke. They are trained by the machine. They know the machine's tactic. Whenever all of them wake up, what the hell is going to happen, dude?
Remember, you can't have a whistleblower without someone being corrupted. I know this firsthand. Okay, and I've seen corruption, and it wears a big Joker smile. It really does. It wears the biggest grin you've ever seen. It's almost scary, that many teeth. But remember that when this is all said and done, we need the people who had their fingers on the weather mod to know how to use the weather mod to reverse the weather mod. We can't just destabilize all this shit with force of will. I wish we could, But if that was a fact, we'd all be healed and this would all be fixed already. A force of will is not enough. We need the people who are on the inside who are just now awakening. I think it was designed that way on purpose, because they have to awaken later so that they have been able to gain the knowledge that will be needed to restore what they have destabilized.
I talk to them a lot. I cannot not love who we are as a people. And when it comes to the ABCs, I understand that they're corrupt, but yet I'm not going to just like whitewash and throw the entire basket of apples out with the entire basket. You know what I'm saying? I personally have got friends on the inside, and I know you probably do as well, coming from NASA. You know some pretty heavy hitters, okay? And you can't just fucking throw them out with the entirety. We can't do that. So knowing that they're going to wake up, that's why I say I talk to them. I talk to them because I want them to really, really realize it depends on them. I say all the time on the show, we are waiting on you. We're on the outside waiting for the inside to just break. The matrix is coming down. It's coming down. You can see it very clearly.
Yeah, the holograms aren't going to be able to hold it up. The sun dimming and SAI, stratospheric aerosol injection, aren't enough to block out the 2 and 3 suns. It's that prophecy. It's the Gaia Hopi prophecy of the Warriors of the Rainbow, which sounds gay as fuck, no homo, but that's what it translates to, so that's what it is. And it's going to come with the star seeds, the star children, the Heyoka, the teachers, and many other classifications of empathically gifted individual. And we are up against dark forces, but that is how this prophecy unfolds. And it all starts when the sky is covered in spider webs. We know that time has been here for some 40, 50 years now. We've seen it happen in our sky as it went from navy, royal blue to baby blue. We know this has happened.
Damn it.
We've seen it with our own eyes. Even those who are in denial can't deny it longer. So that's where we exist. And within that prophecy, everyone can find a designation. Besides that, the fact that we've all been victimized, we know we've been mind controlled from before we were born, that this plan has been in effect for at least 1,000 years, if not much longer. And none of us are guilty of anything that was done to us via programming. When we ascend past that reality and get past the ego, and remember, the ego is taught by Western thinking, by the fact that we're all taught we're on a ladder and we have to throw and jump over people, when really it's a rising stairway. And if we're all warriors on that stairway, no one can get in our way. But you have to deprogram from that egotism, that sociopathic programming, and trust me, I know that. Remember, I was groomed to own anyone listening right now. I was supposed to be making 6 figures and be on top of the world with as many kids and as much corruption as I could eat. But that's just wasn't for me. And if I can do it, and I'm one of them, then anyone can do it. And if you're listening right now, all of our spooks that like to, listen in, then I'm just going to appeal to you. It's like, it doesn't matter what you think you need. What you need is to have a clear conscience at the end of the day, because the only thing after that is the will to not be nice to yourself. Let me put it that way. And no amount of anything is going to make those demons go away. Because once you're fully corrupted, you're not you anymore. You are whatever that entity you bonded to is. And if you have no control over that entity at all by that point, it has complete control over you. You're not even a human anymore. You're just a fucking shell. Why do you think they're making other humans?
That's scary, Holmes. Do you know that? That is absolutely scary, what you just said.
What? A demonically infused monkey human? As if a monkey human isn't scary enough? a demonically charged tardigrade human that can make itself go into hibernation for thousands of years. Yet these people are not single players. They are playing every line of alchemy, on the quantum scale included.
That's just, again, that's scary. That's scary shit.
Know your enemy. If you've ever seen Ender's Game, understanding your enemy, empathizing with your enemy teaches you who your enemy is. And in that moment, you learn to utterly destroy your enemy. This is something I've been taught too well. I know how to get at people's hearts. But the thing is, until you actually feel it for yourself, like some of us feel the pain of others and the deaths of others we care about, until you actually feel it for yourself, you're never going to believe it's real. You're never going to believe it's true. And until that moment, and all the regret that will have built up to that moment, that you will have from that moment forward, the sooner the better. Trust me. It's like getting chicken pox. If you get it for the first time as a kid, you can get it twice and be fine. Get it for the first time as an adult, it can and probably will fucking kill you. That's the way trauma works.
Right. Every time I move my screen, there's a. Speaking of, you mentioned, what the hell was it? You just mentioned, know your enemy. I made a screen. I need to find the screen. Because I need to share it with you. And that's within the art department. I know I got it here. All right, so a lot of the screens that I make, I dump them in here. Where's that? Right there. There's the one. This image to me says 1,000 words too. Right there. Your enemy mocks everything holy and good. That
it celebrates pain. And honestly, if you ask me, necromancy.
Bruh, that is an amazing screen too. I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm just saying that's a badass screen.
Well, like I told you, man, you know how to make a point with a visual, and I have full trust in you. From the first one that we talked about, you know how to make something, you know, to bring something to life. I know how to eloquate it. I know how to talk it out, but I can't draw or do graphics for shit. So we all have our gifts, the little talents, but it's in how we all teach and learn from each other that's really going to drive this prophecy home. And the one thing these guys don't like, they don't like the sun. If they did, they wouldn't be working to actually dim it. And the light of truth is even more toxic to them. So let's give them exactly what they want. Let's give them everything that's toxic to them. Sunlight, truth, and where we can, let's roll back their lies. Because otherwise, who's going to stand up for it? If you don't in that moment, who's going to? And then by omission, how many are going to die because of, your lack of action? And at some point, even you are going to call yourself a coward. I know I did. So do you really want to be the person that's calling yourself a coward? Or ignoring the fact that you're calling yourself a coward?
No.
Nobody does.
No, that's why I've told everybody here in this broadcast that's listening and or paying attention. I cannot do this alone. I can't. This is not just my fight. This is ongoing. The awakening of the minds within this matrices of things is not just my fight. You know what I'm saying? It's theirs. That's why I need. You see that little blue shield beside James and Mish. That little blue shield says right now, that says to me that they support what we're talking about. They support what we're doing. They back the fight, and they don't want us to quit. That's a sponsorship shield. That right there is a subscriber shield. You see it by her name, right? Mm-hmm. So all of those people in the chat that wish to, and I'm not saying support me. You're supporting the broadcast. You're making a fucking stand to Facebook or to big tech, because they know. If you think that they don't, they absolutely do know. They know that you're on our side. They know that you're not liking what's going on. Let's talk about. Let's talk about something for a second. And that is these little son of a bitches that's gathered around this table. Let's go back to this main screen, right here. All right, so you wanted me to somehow show lizards, reptilian faces, politicians in Congress or in political power. Why did you want this specific screen?
Well, there's one a lot of people are familiar with. It's an overlay of the picture and meme from the Oval Office, where it's Bernie Sanders, Obama, a couple of their presidents, and a couple of their politicians and APAC guys laughing. Bernie Sanders bent over in half laughing. And then somebody superimposed lizard faces on all of them, and it went completely viral, and it still gets around. So I thought people would immediately register that one. And then I saw this one, and I thought it was more accurate because I've actually sat at bars with these somber fucking lizard fucking eyeball licking motherfuckers. And that is how they look most of the time, like overly serious. Like they really can't laugh and joke. One of the most interesting things I remember at NASA is nobody had a sense of humor. In fact, one of the guys that designed the entire monetary tracking system for all the government that was in my office, he would come to work in like Looney Tunes ties, and I thought it was the funniest shit ever, and nobody in the office had any fucking sense of humor for it, and I thought it was the weirdest thing. But then when people like Ghislaine Maxwell showed up, they'd escort her around like fucking royalty. It was just the most backwards thing. And so now I understand how these people think. They're just overly serious about their own reality, and they're always hungry. That's the thing about lizards. They always want something in their stomach, even if it's digesting for like 3 days. Keeps them warmer.
I love what George just said here. Do you see that? Were you able to see that?
Shine your light, the most powerful. Yeah, and love and love is good. Laughing is good, but don't let your guard down. You know, the thing is, the more powerful you are, the more metaphysical stalkers you're going to have, the more dimensional entities you're going to shine to, because everything exists on a dimensional frequency. So the higher your light frequency, you know, speaking like mathematically or, you know, easily, the higher your frequency, the more dimensions that's going to pierce through. It's kind of like how humans see between 14 and 18 frames of light, or no, average humans see between 11 and 14 frames of light. RH negative see between 11 and 18. So they've got those 4 extra cones in there, including the golden cones in some cases. But it's all variant. But then dogs and cats, because they're permanently dilated, they see in frequencies that other animals don't see it. Cats literally react to invisible things that have physical effects. And it's the weirdest shit ever, but everybody notices it, and that's why everybody thinks cats are spooky. Guardians of the underworld shit.
Let me run this by you. Out of curiosity, for those that do not believe that there is a spiritual aspect to the matrices of things, what the hell do we say to them whenever? Again, I guess this goes back to they believe in a flat Earth, but they won't believe in the love of Christ, the teaching of Christ. Again, they've completely bastardized what Jesus Christ even spoke about, what he was even trying to teach. And if they brought him back today, I have no doubt in my mind, we would probably have to protect him because they'd want to crucify or kill him again.
Well, they never really stopped. The power is in the blood, sir. And one of the things that's super dangerous for regular humans is to regularly ingest the blood of rare blood types. But it's something that they've been doing over the years. This is something the very King James, who authorized the Council of Nicaea, a Masonic cult going back to 300 AD. And at this time it was, I believe, 1420 AD, when they were allowed to choose which books went into the Bible and which books were left out. So they authored the modern King James Version Bible. Meanwhile, King James was performing the Crusades, and he was writing Demonology and I, which was all about him having these rare blood types who performed miracles, healers, witches, warlocks, people he called evil, kidnapped, brought back to his citadel, drained of their blood, which he would then drink so he could commune with angels and demons. This was a book that King James himself wrote that you can buy on Amazon for $5.99.
What is this?
It's all about his many torture methods for these rare blood types to gain this arcane knowledge, this demonological knowledge. So it was kind of a setup. The Christus that are mentioned in ancient Samaria are actually an entire bloodline. And that's like one of the things that the Da Vinci Code actually got right, except there's a lot of us out there. The rare blood types that, you know, kind of coincide with the Baltic Sea anomaly, if you know what I mean.
I do.
Came down in a fireball, you know, when the Son of the Morning Star was fully in the sky, which I think the Son of the Morning Star, or the Lightbringer, is a reference to Marduk, or Nibiru, or Nemesis, or Planet X, or call it whatever you want to call it.
But
Because
that's a conspiracy, bro. That's just a conspiracy. They say Nibiru don't really exist, right? Planet X don't exist. So what?
and they're putting a great light show in the sky, because there's way too many two suns that I see regularly.
Right. I gotta shout just to clear things up. This is not a threat, meaning this is not him. This is not Socrates for any of the ABCs that's like looking at this going, oh, we found one. Domestic terrorist, we found one. No, look, it's not. This is not. He is not a domestic terrorist. I'm going to point this out, though. Socrates, right? He says politicians are the enemy, and when shit hits the fan, we will round them up along with the media and Hollywood. Not a threat, but a promise. That is not saying that he's going to take action into his own hands. He's making a statement there that's saying we the people are fucking tired of it. Okay? This isn't saying it's just him. It's not saying it's me. It's not saying it's just Anon. He's clearly making a statement. Just to point that out and cover your ass, Socrates.
I do not believe in minor attracted people under my First Amendment right. And I have the theory that Nazi pedophiles, literally speaking, Nazi pedophiles have no room in an organized society and should be dealt with severely. Now, anyone that disagrees with that perspective,
you're part of the problem.
Nazi pedophiles should be protected. I would willingly have a very eager and rigid debate with.
That means that they're part of the problem. Just like Larry says all the time.
You can think what you like, but there are some things that are not okay.
Right. Right. Oh my God, Airbrush Miss, she's just gonna toss their ass to the lions. And no, Sock, I know you, and I know what you meant by what you said. We are indeed sick of it. All right, I definitely know that. I mean, you hear me say this a lot, and I personally my own self don't think that we're gonna have to burn shit down, break shit, blah 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 blah. I truly think that we as a people are just gonna have to congregate together, get together, put our minds together, and it will be over. The moment we stop participating in a corrupt system, this show is done. I mean, Wayne Stewart says it a lot. Credits have been rolling. We're literally just waiting for the end of the movie to begin. That's it. It's done. Davis, I love Gallows humor. You're funny. Oh shit. What did you say? If you're sick, then bond out. That's what they want us to do, right, Beth? They want us to do that. They want us to break shit, burn shit. We know this. We all know this. Take the example of the Yellow Vest Rebellion and the Germans and the Belgian farmers dropping tons of feces in their leisure's doorstep. Yeah, man. Yeah,
that's what they did.
Yeah.
Right now, you can look it up, and it's still going on. I think it's like 10,000 tractors marching on Belgium. They're still pissed. Belgium finally illegalized 5G. But the Belgian population was so annihilated by World War II that they're still having trouble getting their people back up to, living. What happened to the people of Belgium and Germany is, paramount to what happened to a lot of the people, the Native Americans. They were poisoned and toxified as well as hunted down and killed. And so that generates, just like in America, we have the poisoning from Vietnam, the Agent Orange, Agent Blue, Agent Pink, because there were at least 13 agents they used, all dioxin based. And once that gets into you, it gets into everything, and your body actually starts creating it. It's disgusting, but it stays with you, and it toxifies everything you touch and live around. And your genetics forever are toxified by it. So for them, they're really fucking pissed because now all their shit's being sold off, and they're finally standing up and saying no to the international order. If you've been watching the court cases this week, there are at least 50 nations came forward today and said, stop the violence now. It has to stop. And see, here's the thing, and here's why they can't stop the violence. Because as soon as they do, there's an investigation, and everything has to stop. And if they kill the investigators, they're automatically at fault. They've done that too many times. Nobody's putting up with it anymore. And there are certain nations like Russia, China, Italy, India, Brazil, they're just not going to tolerate. And Venezuela's getting on that market too. BRICS has grown tremendously. And I don't know if it's controlled opposition or not, but it's grown in direct proportion to the current violence. So it's pretty wild because I think it's over 40 nations now that are on BRICS, and they're the only real gold-backed currency on the planet. So if the EU banks really feel like they're about to, then Russia will be in a position to help Venezuela, and then America's oil will be completely cut off because the Saudis aren't having it anymore either.
Let me share something with you that I think I'm thinking about which one of the guys shared this with me. I talked to several military people. I'm trying to figure out which one shared this information with me. I don't know. I don't remember. I think it's that one. I think it's the one I'm pointing to. And here's the key. From what I understand, now I did not know this. That supposedly when overseas, they were to go into a gas station to fuel up a tanker, fuel up whatever, or whatnot. They looked at them dumbly because they stood around trying to figure out where to pay for this fuel that they just got. And I guess over there they looked at them like they're stupid because they don't pay for gasoline. Did you hear what I said? They don't.
Where does this happen?
From what I understand, they don't pay for gasoline in the Middle East at certain places.
I'd never heard that before.
I'm just telling you what I was told.
The city of Dubai is so advanced that they control their own weather, and you can't even really hang out there unless you've got $5,000 a day. So they might be set up, but I'd never heard that there are countries where you just don't pay for gas because it's so plentiful.
Well, that was a mouth fart, but I want to say I really do think that my boy Larry's the one that told that to me. I could be wrong. They're. Oh my God, the days run together. Am I right? Larry? Are you the fellow that told me that?
It's definitely
because I don't really remember.
We're all fucked. We're definitely all fucked. I felt like I got humped every way, and not in the fun way this week. But no, I mean it's very possible. You go to Gloucester, you usually don't have to pay for lobster. You go to Colorado, you usually don't have to pay for elk the first couple times. It just depends on what's plentiful. And the last time I said something in disbelief, it was zombie deer disease. No fucking way. That's some bullshit. Let's look.
Zombie deer disease.
Last time I said anything like that to anything in reality, because that shit's real.
Larry says, yeah, yep. And this area is through Qatar. I do believe that's what he's responding to me on. I could be wrong. Dubai is badass. I'd love to go there, but I don't drink. I don't know. Some of the, the technology, as well as we there's so much that we are not told. That's like they're discussing the this UAP thing in Congress. I think that is a joke. I truly do. Miss Beth Ann says,
Not a joke.
Why?
Psyop.
Why
Okay.
is his mic low, bro? They're saying I've got you as high as I could get you, literally.
Okay, let me see if I can turn myself up here. How's that?
Yeah, getting there. Let me see. Let me open up my volume mixer as well. Yeah.
Try my volume.
There you go. Hang on. Never mind. I got it. Now I'm gonna have to turn you down. Go ahead and talk.
How's this?
That's a lot better. All right.
Okay, so it was on your end. All right, yeah, because I just looked at my stuff and I'm all maxed. It looks like I'm hitting yellow right now, so hopefully that solved the problem.
Yeah.
The UAP thing, and this is something everyone can look up. Reverse ionization lasers, including U-beam, Athena, both by Raytheon, laser strike, all these things can be used to make unidentified aerial phenomena. In fact, sometimes it happens by accident. It looks like a sideways lightning bolt going through clouds, because what's happening is you're seeing the energy distribution that happens when a reverse ionization laser tuned to the frequency of, say, water hits a bunch of vaporous water, and all the energy spreads out instantly. And as the beam goes through in a sideways pattern, you'll see it travel like it's complete light. And then when the beam dissipates, they can make it dissipate in a glow that sparks out. Now, when I first saw videos of this, I thought what everyone else thought. Oh, that's a craft hyper accelerating into a portal phenomenon. But it wasn't like any portal I'd ever seen, so I looked deeper. Now, originally, this is what I thought. But what it turned out to be is, indeed, if you shoot lasers strategically through clouds, even if you can't see the clouds, sometimes the mist is still there, or there's a nitrogen pocket there, you can destabilize it, make it explode, and make people think they're seeing UFOs lighting up in the sky, or even going through portals. That's how they've done the distraction. Now remember, this is all to distract from the fact that their freaking masters, the archons themselves, have been found by science. Space Force was approved in direct response to the finding of these creatures over the city of Miami and super secret bases. And if you look it up, in intelligent dimensional entities and non-human intelligences are still the main focus of Space Force. That's what they're doing congressional hearings about.
I'm looking at you like you're half cock crazy. but I believe this. I'm serious. All you're doing for me is confirming that in which I had already thought.
Okay, I'm going to post a link. This is when it originally happened. And it's from CNN. Okay, this was done by CNN, Forbes. It was covered by every major news thing. But when's the last time CNN talked about this? All right.
Where are you dropping?
Nobody
where are you
talking about
gonna drop this link at?
All right.
You send me this in my messenger.
Okay, hold on.
Because Yvonne Daniel says this is bullshit. This bullshit is worldwide. All the countries need to stand up for our God-given rights. It goes about, again, she knows that her God is my God is her God. We have an inalienable source energy right to do and search for, what is it? Truth, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Anybody that fucks with any of those three things, you know what I'm saying? I'm just being serious. I'm being honest. She's right. We have every fucking right to fight for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's like Larry says, there's three things to fucking die for, and love is number one. Truth is the other one. Right? I mean, we shouldn't even be talking about this. Do you know that? We shouldn't
Well,
even.
no, we shouldn't have to. We should all be outside enjoying free fireworks or free hologram shows, while we are able to harvest things from our yards on the daily with accelerated growth technique, aided by nanotech, and accelerated healing, aided by nanotech. That's where we should be. But instead, we are at who's a bioweapon, who's a phone zombie, who's a Republican, who's a Democrat, who's MAGA, who's not, who's a Christian, who's not, who's this, who's that. It's a bunch of isms, man. At the core of it, what you look at it physically, you look at it scientifically, you look at it in terms of geography and geology and anthropology. We're just a bunch of different tribes of one offshoot species that got mixed up and lied to.
Oh,
And
we've
the
been lied to.
trauma- Yeah, the trauma of that is, resonating in a way that our society can no longer ignore. And the fact is, most of those annihilated bloodlines are speaking out in ways that most people don't want to hear.
I'm going to go over here to this share that you shared with me. And you're going to have to explain to me what we're looking at, because I definitely am not gonna be aware.
Okay, so I think I've explained this before, but Dr. Santilli created an antimatter telescope because he firmly believed in the existence of antimatter galaxies next to ours, in line with the atomic principle of positrons, which are invisible to the naked eye, but balance electrons. So he was thinking there were positronic planets, and he was thinking there were also antimatter creatures, entities, and life forms in space. So he created a double concave lens rather than double convex lens telescope. And to calibrate it, he pointed it at the Earth. He pointed at the city of Miami. And when they came back with the pictures from the city of Miami, they came back with a shadow in the images. And they couldn't explain it, so they applied spectrography to it and found a creature that was about 2 stories tall hanging over the city of Miami. This was in 2016. So to reconfirm the sighting, they calibrated to the spectrographic frequency of this creature and pointed at the rest of the country, and they found 7 more. 2 of them were over super secret military bases the U.S. hadn't told anybody about. So he had to disclose to Congress immediately. On September 16th, Santilli appeared before Congress and basically told everything to Congress that I'm telling to you guys now. And 2 weeks later, 50 billion bipartisan approval under Trump was given to Space Force September 30th, 2016.
This is
now in congressional hearings, you will find these gentlemen who head up Space Force talking about non-human intelligences.
Oh.
They were originally called invisible terrestrial entities, and they were renamed intelligent dimensional entities. Then they were renamed again non-human intelligences because intelligent dimensional entities was too fucking scary.
Looky there. Look at what we've got. We have a phone number for this place. I say we contact this place. Hang on, I'm gonna go there and see. This says, sorry, if you're the owner of the website, please contact the hosting provider. The link that is actually on their website right here, thunderenergies.com. Did you see?
I've seen this.
Yeah, did you see what this is? Look at this. The domain is dead.
Yeah, they killed the domain. They killed the story too.
Well, the story's still up there. The story's still on money.cnn.
No, I mean, they killed the story. Like, CNN isn't talking about this, Forbes isn't talking about this, and they all were.
I gotcha.
Scientific American published this shit as well. Okay, it's just like sun dimming. Okay, they talked about it on CNN, Fox, every news station, because revelation of the method demands that they tell everyone, whether everyone tunes it out or not. But then they don't talk about the damages that it does afterwards.
I want to check this. See if. Let's see what the hell this Santilli telescope is. All right.
Double concave lens, I believe.
Guy discovers antimatter ghost alien surveillance.
I'm not sure that's. Oh no, that's Thunder Energy's Corp too.
It is. Okay, so hang on a
Yeah,
second.
Jason Vermis
Since
covered
the
this as
dawn of
well.
our civilization,
Hang on. This is only 5 minutes, right? This is
Yeah.
5 minute a 5 minute video. So you guys hang tight. Let me share this. Anon, you can hear this too, I do believe, right?
Yeah. No, I've seen this before.
All right, let me share this because I think what you're on to is really, really hitting home here. Hang on a second. Hang on.
since the dawn of our civilization, all the way to the time of this breaking news, we human believed that everything that exists up there is only what we can see with our eyes and with our optical instruments. Well, things have changed now because we have established the existence of entities existing in our terrestrial environment. And these entities are completely invisible to our eyes as well as to our optical instruments, but are fully visible with new instruments, therefore dramatically enlarging our conception of the perceivable universe with far-reaching possibility of future development and discoveries that perhaps are beyond our imagination at this time.
The revolutionary Santilli telescope is designed to detect antimatter in deep space. By antimatter, we mean an entity with characteristics that are the exact opposite of ordinary matter, including the index of refraction of light, which is opposite. As you can see in the diagram, we have two telescopes, the Santilli and the Galileo. Now, if you look closely, you'll see that the only real difference between the two is the lens. Notice that the Galileo uses a convex lens, whereas the Santilli telescope uses a concave lens.
All right, I got a question. Anon, what the hell, why do they matter?
Okay, so just like with humans, I know I see things most people can't see. I see things usually that animals only react to, but that's because I have golden cones in my eyes and I see more like 16, 17 frames or dimensions of light. Okay?
Okay.
Now, specific frequencies and spectrographies, just like infrared, bright blue, ultraviolet, they respond to specific forms and specific lights, specific things. Like you can take a flash shot and see all the animals in the fucking forest eyes light up. That happens because of applied spectrography. You are seeing it because of the light that's being shot at the eyes, not because it's glowing in the eyes itself. It's how you're seeing shit. All right. Now, remember, to be vexed is to be blinded or cursed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, these are concave lenses. Okay. And just like the Diocenian glass, which creates a chamber through which, just like if you create a force field inside of a force field, it negates all the forces in existence, basically, because inside the force field you've already negated gravity, magnetism, and everything else, and so that basically wipes everything out inside the force field at that point by creating that other force field inside of it. Tears it apart into particles. So just like that, when you're seeing through that concave lens, it's filtering out all the false light and it's only bringing back solid matter. So that's why it showed up as a shadow. Once they applied spectrography to it, it lit up and it looked like a giant freaking worm, basically with long freaking tentacles. And then they found a bunch more of them. So, if you trust in science, which I don't know if I do, but at the same time, I trust where the money's going. I follow the money. And when I see a certain amount of money being spent and I see certain people dodging questions like whether non-human intelligences pose a threat to human beings as they are, even though they exist around us all the time in the same testimony being given. And I see them dodging this question. That's when I see the truth, because I don't look for what they're saying. I look for what they're not saying, what they're not talking about, the common sense they're not discussing, which should occur to them based on the way they think, based on the way they're taught. And then you can see what they're omitting, and then you can see the truth from there.
All right. I here. This is where I guess this is where the rubber meets the road and the division of spirituality, physicality, and the Matrix. Are you ready? All right. So they say that we create our own reality and we project that in which we see. Okay, right? That's what we see. So how in the hell do I remotely have these tyrannicalistic asshole entities in my brain? I'm being serious. How do I, if this is the case, and I create my own reality, and it's all related to quantum physics and quantum entanglement and somebody is interfering with my perception of the field, right? The matrix around me. That is what I gather out of all of this.
It's almost like you're in a prison, but the prison sits on an ancient Indian burial ground. So when something goes past your cell, you don't know whether it's a ghost or an actual warden because they all look the same at this point. We've been here so long. But this planet is a graveyard. And just like Smashing Pumpkin said, Billy Corgan, it is a vampire. Some cults are a little smarter than others. Smart enough to have dumbed us down. Have you been watching the fluoride hearings? Because I've been learning some new things this week.
I have.
One of the questions that people like you and I ask is, why have people gotten so weak mentally and physically?
Right.
So what I learned is that when fluoride absorbs from the mother to the child, because fluoride gets in the bone tissue, the fluoride goes to the child first. And you can have as much as 94% absorption of fluoride instead of calcium in the cells of the child based on the absorption of constant sodium fluoride from water. And pregnant moms, they drink a lot more water and they eat a lot more food. So they're ingesting a lot more water. So if there's more fluoride in their system, that means that there's more concentrated fluoride go to the child. So let's say it's just a conversion of 10%, okay, over the last, let's say, they really ramped it up in the 90s with sodium fluoride. So let's just say since 1990. So that's 34 years. Okay, and we're having kids every generation, so every 10 years. So let's say it's a 20% absorption. All right, so that's 20% by 20% by 20%. So at that point, that means at least 30% of the tissue that's coming through in children from their mothers is fluoridated. So it's completely useless and toxic to their system, and it's a neurotoxin. So if you wonder how people have gotten so stupid, that was a real light turner on for me when I heard that. And in places, the absorption is as much as 94%. So in places, minority places, like especially when you have considerations like Flint, Michigan, what's going on in Mississippi, East Palestine, I'm sure that's especially close to your heart,
Right.
because that's really affected the water up there. What's going on with Lake Mead drying up still, the lack of water in the Ohio Valley. And so when there's less water, it gets more fluoridated. And so the U.S. government, EPA, are fighting. They're fighting back and saying we want to keep the fluoride in the water, and they've got no good arguments.
Well, no. It does nothing good.
So calcium fluoride, okay, if it was actually calcium fluoride in controlled doses, can be good for your bones and your teeth. But this is sodium fluoride. It's a metallic salt. Calcium is a metallic chalk.
Right.
Okay? There is a fucking elemental difference.
Right.
People don't understand this. If you have metal in your bones, it's going to cause osteoporosis because those are metal spikes. If you have chalk in your bones, it's going to act as filler and can prevent osteoporosis. So, I mean, they've sold people just because people are dumb enough to not understand what one word means. Sodium versus calcium.
You know what, Anon? The girls in the Matrix are putting together Norma Jean and Airbrush Mish are coming together, and these girls are going to literally, I hope, reach a multitude of people next week. At some point, I want to get, I don't know, next week, the week after. These girls we're going to put together a show exclusively for them. We've already got a show, a little corner of the Matrix, designated for Michelle and Norma Jean and any lady or man that wants to be part of Michelle's group. She absolutely is a soul on fire when it comes to waking up people as to what's in the water, what's in our food, what's in. Okay, so and this falls right off of the back of what Michelle Sanders was discussing about food, right? I mean, I don't know if you, Anon, you wasn't around that week, but we had the broadcast shut down not once, not twice, but 3 times because Michelle Sanders was dropping fucking bombs. And the bombs that she was dropping was about minerals, the trace minerals that are like really, really, really detrimental to our health. We need these minerals to detox, to be sustainable, to primarily preserve life. And
magnesium, zircon, selenium, manganese, there's a few others, but there's a lot of crystals that need to be in the human body. And just like it only takes one super tiny crystal to power that supercomputer we call a phone, it only takes a whole lot of tiny crystals to power our systems. But we need them. They conduct energy.
Well, there again, we know, ladies, these girls know. They know why their show was canceled. I mean, seriously, dude. They could not. My machine rebooted. I'm sorry. It quit 3 times, not just twice, 3 times. And finally, I'm like, I gave them the number 1 sign, and we took the show to the underground. We went to the Matrix Minds Live, and we didn't give a fuck. We just continued the broadcast because the girls
always have backups for your backups.
Right. I mean, no offense, but I mean, we're gonna with the funds and the money that come in to support the broadcast, we will do whatever the hell it takes to get the word out. One way or the other, it's coming out.
There's nothing safe, man. And look at what just happened. Did you hear about BlackRock getting allowed to buy up most of Bitcoin? And so now they can do their power moves through Bitcoin as well. Like they're basically being allowed to monopolize Bitcoin because they have limitless money and grants from the government. So how's anybody going to stop them?
Well, I don't like Bitcoin to begin with. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in the blockchain technology. However, I will say this. I believe in blockchain Neuralink. I'm talking about neuroplasticity. I'm not talking Neuralink as in Spacelink. I'm talking your network support my network. Your network supports somebody else. If Beth Ann over here starts a network, we support Beth Ann. We start a blockchain of, they can't shut us down. Do you see what I'm saying? Well, yeah, I don't buy into the bullshit.
Backups for your backups.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean,
I'm with that. Like anything to get the truth out and wake people up. I mean, for me, the benefit is karmic. So I have constant motivation to help people learn the truth. For other people, it's not so motivating and it can be detrimental to their health. So those people need more help. And absolutely they should get it, especially from someone like me who, I owe all of you a debt anyway. That's why I'm here. And so if I can help out in any other way with that, then all the better. If it helps your needs, then that's what I'm here for. Long live the 5th column.
Oh, man. Are you talking past life karmic debt, bro? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm just talking about standing up for the first time maybe in your life. If you need to sit there and watch a movie like They Live and Dark City to do it, so be it. That's fine. But I think we all should have amassed enough trauma and loss and people taken from us by now. And if you haven't, bless you, because you're luckier than I. But I think we should all have enough of that grief built up by now, that we can clearly express to ourselves, if we know who the enemy of humanity is, then we should be able to take action against these traitors to humanity in the spirit of legal treason. Like, if there are traitors in our midst, then we are legally indemnified to act against them. And if we do not, our own documents from the founding of this country denounce us as the fault. Even there, apathy becomes consent, silence becomes violence. It becomes really fucking stupid to me. So at this point, when people can see like certain nations that employed Jeffrey Epstein, and are still running sex trafficking networks in our country with our own taxpayer money, which is well established and proven, yeah, they get away with whatever they want to do. But if we clearly know who these people are, and we know they are, say, quote unquote Nazi pedophiles or child organ traffickers, then it is within our power to take action. And our own sacrifice could save 1 million lives or even 100,000 lives. Then that's kind of the Christian thing to do, like if that's in your programming and you give your life for others, maybe who never even know your name, then that's the Christian concept in its purity. And that's where the chosen ones come from. They come from a calling. The blood doesn't have to be born into you. In fact, you don't have to be born from sacred blood to be born with sacred blood. It's just an accident of birth from genetic intelligence. But once you have that calling, once you have a greater intelligence or greater sense of empathy, or you've grown into a stronger light or dark being, because I was a psychic vampire for a long fucking time before I learned how to be anything else. You have a responsibility to everyone you've hurt and damaged, whether you acknowledge it or not. And the ultimate responsibility still remains to yourself, because if you don't heal, you can't heal others. If you don't bathe in the sunlight, you can't really share your light with others because you don't have enough. That's the way it is.
With what you just said there, I want to point something out, because a lot of these ladies in the chat, and we've got a couple of them in the subscribers chat, that their heart, and I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I'm gonna go ahead and their heart is so open and so beautiful of a light, they attract assholes. Okay? And the brighter your light, the stronger your heart. Please, ladies, be aware. The brighter your light, we see it. We definitely see it. But on the other scope of things, so do those that are not good. They see it as well. You know what I'm saying? Teresa's a good lady. She's a fucking targeted individual. Morgan, she's a targeted individual. I mean, the list can go on and on and on. These ladies they love humanity. They love people. They love helping people. And even the men,
they're warriors.
They're fucking warriors.
They're not just females, they're warriors. And that's the thing people forget is, we have all these, social justice warriors, but no warriors for actual nature or naturism. It's like when I was out in Colorado and I'd meet these self-professed vegans who ate, sausage-based gummy candies. And I'm just like, okay, these are the dumbest people in the world, and they have the most money of anyone I've ever met, so we might be in for some trouble.
Right?
And what do you know? We were in for some trouble. And trouble's come to fucking town, man. We're all there. But, all I can say is prepare, because what we are in right now is what's known as the grand sacrifice. That's what you're feeling. That's what you're sensing. That's why they're doing this. This is all prophecy. For them too, and in their religion they're bound to prophecy. That's the advantage. In our prophecy we win, in their prophecy they lose. So they're really just hedging their bets and biding their time. That's the way it's supposed to turn out as far as I can see. But it's not all just love and light. If you have power to do things remotely, yes, absolutely, but also take the time to extend shielding to the people that are close to you, because those are the ones that end up getting attacked.
Aha.
Those are the ones that end up getting targeted. And then the back doors, think of demons like human computer programmers. They use the back door of the people that you're connected to that you love to get into your head. And next thing you know, you have a multidimensional wetiko, just an infant and larva. All of a sudden, it's that devil on your shoulder whispering those things into your head. And you don't know where the impulses are coming from. The movie Nefarious was really good. The way they describe it is a series of yeses. We just get a series of yeses, and next thing you know, we can take control. And that's what classic possession feels a lot like. And you don't know the difference until or if you actually get that thing out of you. You won't know the difference in your thoughts until you're no longer possessed. So think about that.
Wetiko.
I'm not trying to make anybody paranoid, but if you're having impulses that are not you, then what are the odds?
Mm-hmm.
If that's not you, that's not you. So, got to be honest.
Mr. George Overton says, I'm chosen, and I overstand. I don't understand. I overstand. Wording. Let's talk about that for a second, because he's that statement right there. I overstand, or I understand, versus I understand. Spelling.
Yeah,
right?
casting spells.
Bingo.
One of the strongest tools of the Ashkenazi, myself included, is our ability to eloquate. I mean, I can take a girl's name and write a massively beautiful poem about her with minimal knowledge and swoon her if I wish. And I've always been able to do this. And it has nothing to do with my ability to care or love or want to be with that chick. It's just a challenge to me because it's something that I can do, under the same premise of why does a fucking pit bull lick its balls? Like, that's just the way it is. It's because it can. And so we are very chameleon-like. We blend in. It's from our reptilian nature. And we're also very melodic and harmonic. If you ever notice, lizards are really good at trilling or sounding like birds. A lot of sweet harmony. Even frogs. Some frogs sound beautiful. A lot of lizards can make some really, really cool noises. Even some gators, instead of hissing, they sing when they're ready to mate. It's interesting, but that's the way lizards are. And so we're very slick and sly that way. And we also have very mesmerizing eyes. If you ever looked into a lizard's eyes before, they're just a little bit different. The golden cones make ours change. But yeah, it's one of those things about us. And it's why people find us charismatic. It's why often we're chosen for speakership roles, or to be politicians, or basically just to be puppets that can talk well. But I think that shit went out the door with Bush Jr. They just gave up. It was like, yeah, we're just going to show the puppet this time.
We're just, yeah. Yeah. I wanted to talk a little bit. Let's go back for a second, because I just out of curiosity, what do you believe and or think? I have had throughout the years a crap ton of different scenarios be brought to the platform here. Of let's go back for a second to the George Bush funeral. Okay, if everybody up in this chat, hi Blanche, I see you coming there, babe. I see you. Hello. I want to see what you think and everybody else thinks transpired whenever at the George Bush funeral, right? It seemed as though, now again, I personally, I am not a Trumper anymore. I thank God I can say that. I am not a Trumper. I'm not a Trump. What I will say is something happened at that funeral, right? And it shook some fucking cages. It literally caused an earthquake at that funeral. Jeb Bush is like, oh God. Look, watch me on my screen. I'm going, oh God. Right? He's concerned. Barbara's like, hands him. And George is standing like, yep, we fucked up. We did. We're all going to die. What happened that moment? Something fucking happened. What do you all believe happened? Because I'm gonna tell you, I personally, I don't trust a single motherfucker at this point. And I'll say it again. I don't trust a single one of them fucking people as far as I can throw my pickup truck. And I can't even push the son of a bitch. What do you think happened at that funeral? Because it almost seems as though that Mr. Anon is when shit really, really started happening. Everybody got a note.
What funeral are you talking about? I'm sorry.
George Bush's daddy, Daddy Bush.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't watch the live footage, so I'm not familiar. But I would bet that at that point, it's just the heart strain and the combination of the boosters that they had to take. I would say, yeah, that's the most likely culprit. But these people usually don't show signs of weakness unless they can absolutely avoid it. You know what I mean? It's all weakness to them unless they get caught suddenly.
Larry just dropped something in the chat. Oh, bro. I love you. Larry Hawkins. There's the note.
That's funny.
They know everything. I'm sorry. So, what do we mean by that? What the did he mean by this?
So first of all, our leaders like George Bush, David Rockefeller, when they die, they do not get properly disposed of. Okay? All of our leaders, all of our presidents, when they die at this point, are vitrified. That means that they are put into a freezing chamber, their blood is drained, and their organs are flash frozen. This is how transhumanists extend life through cryonics currently. Unless the technology is modernized. Okay, but this technology, when I checked on it last in 2016, had brought 3 birds and a dog back from the dead.
All right, stop there. You say that they do what to these guys? To their organs?
Okay, so
say it again.
I'm going to, hold on. And I'm going to post, I should have loaded up the video. So vitrification is a process that fixes the flaws in cryogenics. The flaw in cryogenics is when they leave the blood in, the blood cells crystallize. And so as soon as they speed thaw the organs, the crystallized blood pierces the organs and shreds the heart. And so they couldn't figure out how to bring the people back to death without draining the blood. So now what they do is they insert needles in, they flash freeze the organs as they drain the blood. They keep the blood separate and stored, okay? And they flash freeze the person in a chamber, and then when they bring them back, they pump either matching blood, clone blood, or their own blood back into them. And then they try to bring them back to life that way. And as I said, last time I checked on the progress, it was 3 birds brought back and 1 dog.
All right, stop there, because this is what this entire thing vitrification, right? This is what this reminds me of, and everybody at this point should go, oh shit. Think about what I'm about to tell you. What did they do with all of the pharaohs' organs? They separated each one of the organs into separate sarcophagi or little vials, okay? The heart went into one, the stomach went into one, the blah, blah, blah went into one, the brain went into one. No, I'm sorry. The brain was literally tossed out, if I'm not mistaken, right?
No, the brain was kept. Canopic jars is what you're describing. CANOPIC.
Okay.
And then the body was preserved with formaldehyde.
And
formaldehyde works as a preservative, but only on specific frequencies or in enclosed environments. Now, pyramids, and especially the tombs in pyramids, because they were airtight, they were designed to prevent all outside air, and once the inside air is gone, it's gone. That's it. And that would be consumed by any bugs or anything like that would get into the chamber and then replace the air with, you know, their own farts and shit. Methane, etc. Decomposition doesn't really create air. So the theory, I think, was because the pyramids themselves are bioharmonic generators that give off energy we can't contain, that they would, you know, preserve the life long enough to bring them back from the dead, you know. But we can't tell how that would work out because we went and raided all the tombs. So we took everything out that was supposed to be left in. So we'll never know.
I don't
just
think
know that the pyramids give off a weird energy.
I don't think that we raided the tombs. I think that we were lied to. I think that we put it this way. If you catch me my own self into an Egyptian archaeological group, dude, I will call a spade a spade. Our people have been lied to so detrimentally deep. I personally would love to buy the rope. You guys build the platform, hang Dr. Zahi Hawaz's ass for number one, lying to the people, stealing and selling and hiding the antiquities of ancient Egypt. Again, lying to the people about what they've got. The list can, dude. I can. The list is a mile long. These people have been over there anyway. Dude, I can't wait. I cannot wait until the day these fucking people cannot lie to us anymore.
Well, they really can't anymore. That's the thing. They're telling the truth on themselves, because even the White House press corps, they're putting these people into corners because they're clearly lying, and the American people have had enough. These people are at a position where no one trusts their news outlets anymore, and it's no fault of their own because they just inherited this position for the most part. Most of these people got fired for getting caught lying. And so it's almost an entirely new press corps. They're all being pushed right into Project Mockingbird. And so they're all being given scripts to read. And in many cases, like, you know, Fox, CNN, and NPR, that's all controlled opposition.
Let's see what
NPR pretends to be liberal, Fox pretends to be Republican, and CNN pretends to be Democrat.
It's all
as clear as it gets.
Bro, it's all a bunch of shit. It is all a bunch of shit because they're all part of the same fucking system. That's the problem that people need to wake up to. They're like, oh, Fox News is better than CNN. They're Republicans, but better than CNN. It's part of the Mockingbird medium. They're all going to divide you. That's their fucking job. That's why they're paid. That is what they do. That is why they're here to shut you down. Am I right or am I wrong? You know this.
Well, they have to allow some of the truth to get out, but ultimately we have to recognize at the end of the day they decide just how much.
My head hurts.
Because they let us know. Once they've had enough, we've seen them kill enough streams live. We've seen them interfere with enough streams live. Enough of us have been on YouTube enough to see all the bots, especially Ziobots and the deep state bots and the spooks on YouTube. You know, we know what's going on. You know, and they've made it so staringly obvious that when they just put their shoulders up and shrug when we call them out on their bullshit, we can tell they don't care, and that our lives mean nothing to them. So if that doesn't inspire a survival instinct in you, then I think that directly correlates to the level of programming you're under.
Socrates,
you know, and it's up to all of us to recognize that.
You're right. Socrates is absolutely right. In my book, I believe that what he just said, we've got to get rid of them all. Not just the Democrats, not just the Republicans, get rid, it is time, it is time for us to take out the trash. But here's the key. I so badly want to watch all of the ABCs, all of them, every single one of them. And my military do exactly what he just said. It's not my fucking job. It's my job to support you. You took an oath to literally to defend me and all of these great people up in here. It's not my job. It's your all's job. You took an oath. You just swear to protect, uphold the blah, 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 the liberty, life, pursuit of happiness, all of this shit. It's your job, not mine. Not Anon's, not Larry's, not Speed Racers, not David's, not Lisa's, not... You see what I'm saying? We cannot wait for you to literally wake up, warrior, and take out the fucking trash. It is literally just a matter of time, dude. It is a matter of time.
Did you see the power move they just pulled that we predicted a couple weeks ago?
No.
So now they are allowing illegal immigrants to become soldiers in our military.
Oh, man.
They failed in the 2019 attempt at a female draft. They failed in the 2023 attempt at a female draft. And so now they're going to allow the migrants to become soldiers who owe allegiance to no one. And in a lot of the cases, these migrants are going to be trained mercenaries, just like G4S did, bringing a bunch of freaking Middle Eastern mercenaries over here. They're going to be trained mercenaries already in place. This is just another grooming program. And that's what it was always about, was in getting extremely dangerous people into this country who wouldn't otherwise get it. And also to fill the coffers of transhumanism with a bunch of missing kids, which I think it's 40,000 missing kids right now they can't find.
Well, you know what? You know this as well as I know this, and me and Larry talk about this a lot. All right? Down to a quantum physics level, they know what your burp smells like. Right? They know what your fart smells like. They know every single aspect of what is and what is not. So this bullshit of missing children, missing POWs, missing people should not even be a fucking question. It should not even be a question as to where's little Timmy at? Or where's little Rebecca? You see what I'm saying? This is fucking bullshit.
Meanwhile, we have the entire Epstein network completely uninvestigated. We have no answers. And we're never going to have answers. That's the thing. These people just throw shade when there's nothing else to throw.
Can't
and
throw
shade. Come at them past that, they use the police as their defense.
Can't throw the shade no more.
The police were always a segregation of force, not for people against African Americans, but for people against all economic slaves.
See something?
All economic slaves.
Say something. See something. Say something. These fuckers can't run and they can't hide no more. Right here. The technology, you've got this is what I'm saying. I understand that our cell phones and shit are being used against us, but we've got some tools in our back pocket that are glorious little things. I love my cell phone. Even though it's a piece of shit, I still love it.
It's also slowly killing you. That's the thing we have to remember. These things are hallucination machines.
Bro, we're all gonna fucking die, okay?
Don't give me that fatalist bullshit.
Well, I'm just saying, what's the matter? We're all gonna die, and probably we're all gonna get reincarnated, thrown back into this shit show to watch the credits one more time. So what does it matter?
Now it's gonna happen.
What? What'd you just say?
You done said it, so now it's gonna happen. But that's how we manifest reality. We don't manifest reality as individuals. Now, the allegory in Dark City, that is an extreme example based on a much smaller population. But I actually do think that a smaller human population, and this is not an argument for depopulation, but I think a smaller human population would, on an individual basis, exhibit more advanced metaphysical ability, because that energy would be captured in far less humans with nowhere else to go.
Right there.
And so at that point, oh no, I know.
They're not migrants, they're fucking UN soldiers.
A lot of them are UN Global Peacekeepers.
So,
and that was the point. They already made it legal for UN Global Peacekeepers to be on American soil, and we've got the videos of UN Global Peacekeepers on the streets to prove it. But American cities have said no on individual basis, and even gone as far as to fire their IDF police force, or their IDF trainers for their police force, because they just weren't having it anymore. You know, we've seen massive upsurges in violence, and that's because they modeled their systems after the Israeli Defense Forces. There's no other way around it.
You know, I can't stand politics. You realize, you know that, right? I absolutely,
Yeah, I grew up with it.
I absolutely despise talking about what we're talking about, but it needs talked about. And so
Oh, I know.
that's why you're here. That's why this is
born into this shit, and I was groomed for it. So I learned how these people are, even when they're being polite. You know, to understand the psychosis, you have to understand someone that is willing to put a butcher knife through your head and drink your blood while feeding you dinner. And that's the really hard part for most humans, because most humans don't have that capacity in them. You know, even in defense of their own life, actually, a lot of humans don't have that capacity anymore.
Oh man, dude. All right, and we could probably talk about this shit for another, I don't know, probably 45 minutes to an hour, and not even talk about the same subject. Not even.
And we have before.
And we have before.
Depends how late you want to go.
Well, I can't. We're gonna wrap it up in an hour and 50 minutes. You get up early in the morning. I've got shit to do in the morning. Airbrushing is just politics is fake. It's all a shit show, baby. You know that. It is all just a, like Anon says earlier, divide, conquer. Divide, conquer. They're trying. Blacks, whites, women, men, transgenders, you name it. I don't know.
What does any of that mean when we're all fucking slaves?
Oh.
You want something in common with everyone, with your fellow man, just look at that person and realize they are also a slave.
Oh.
There you have it. Common shared trauma. That's the real shit.
And you told me not to manifest it. Oh, you some bitch. Look at you. He told me not to manifest them, and he just said we're all slaves.
No, that is already true. Okay, sharecroppers have a better fucking deal than we do.
I know.
They had 10%. We get 3% of every dollar, even less actually.
No, you're right.
Sharecroppers had a better deal, and they got free weed.
You're right. Plus, they got free weed. Before I let you go, let me ask you this. Seriously, before I let you go, I want to talk to you about this, and that is more and more we're hearing about these migrants, these again U.S. soldiers coming over here. They say that they are given a debit card, they are given a phone, they are given wherever they want to go in the United States, they are free reign to go. And me, you, Bethann, Lee, you, everybody, we pay for this shit. What in the world? Let me ask you. Whenever we hear people say, "Well, I don't even want to be a U.S. citizen anymore," I've got one guy right now that is really, really part of this broadcast, looking really heavily into citizenizing himself or some shit. I can't say that he's going to be pretty much denouncing his citizenship of the United States. You said
I mean, that's a legal process everyone can look up. And once you're no longer a citizen of the United States, you can sue the U.S. government for your gross domestic product. And whatever that's worth, which is at least $1 million per American citizen U.S., you will get that granted to you. But then you can't live in America anymore because you're no longer a conscript. That's the only problem. But then you can apply for a citizen of the world status for $2,500. So, 0.0004% of what you make by renouncing your American citizenship. Just like I said, it's like that episode of Family Guy where Peter starts Pretoria, and within one day, he's got fucking tanks on his front porch and making sure he doesn't try to tap into the inner resources of his town because he annexed his own house. That's the way that typically works. But yeah, these migrants. So let me just give you a quick history lesson. G4S security companies got caught bringing mercenaries into this country in 2004, I believe it was, because Omar Martin, who was the Orlando Pulse nightclub shooter, he was a result of that program. And so it was discovered that Dick Cheney had his hands in that in G4S British security companies, and he was implicated as well. And it was bad publicity, especially since the BP oil spill was caused in 2005 by his, orders. So he had to take attention off himself, but they still had to bring mercenaries into the country to do what they want to do and have their false flags and their psyops with. So they came up with this migrant crisis and just pretended they couldn't do anything to protect the fucking border while they're creating all these guerrilla factions in other countries. How hard is it for them to say to these people, hey, okay, come on up. There's plenty of room and we'll make sure you get a pass through. Just, give them this bracelet or give them this ID or scan this barcode. And people are so fucking corrupt that it's easy to put your own people on the border patrol. I mean, it's so easy to put your own agents in at this point. The grooming is so persistent.
I gotta share this before we go, because Socrates is, here's the kicker. Socrates, as well as Mike and a lot of the road pounders, the ground pounders, they are our eyes and ears beyond this broadcast. Socrates says we saw. Now again, you better believe what this man is saying. And he says, we saw Border Patrol today wait on a bus with migrants at the northern border and escort them. He says he's got it all on his Facebook Lives. What's happening in the southern border is also happening in the northern border, and no one is watching the northern border. Both borders are just wide open, and the BP is Border Patrol is escorting them in here. So, what the fuck do you do? What do you do? I mean, the bullshit of 700,000 screaming trucks in Jesus' name running to the border and saying, well, we're God's arm. You ain't ever going to get 700,000 trucks to... No. You're never going to do that.
Nobody can take that much time off work.
Dude, we don't even... Beyond that, dude, you can't even get 7 fucking drivers to agree on one thing. Okay?
You remember the North American Union Act signed into law by Bush Jr. in 2001? So it was the North American Act. So the North American Union Act, it made Mexico, the U.S., and Canada one sovereign nation. But then Mexico got pissed off by America's frequent chemtrailing and blocking of the sun, because the sun is kind of Mexico's thing. And so the new president put a ban on all sun dimming systems over their own country, which means we can't do it over our own as well, because the wind blows both ways. So they put that ban on, and it just, if you make Mexico look like the enemy right now, it's a lot easier when they actually do, build up the balls to like invade Mexico or invade the cartels like they've been threatening to do over and over again. Because at a certain point, the deep state stops threatening to do it, and they just do it once they feel like they've garnered enough support. They'll just keep saying it and keep polling until the polling looks good, and then they'll just do it and ask for forgiveness rather than permission once they've committed the crime, and try to legitimize it. So it's easy to make Mexico look like the bad guy in all this, but ultimately a lot of these people aren't coming from Mexico. They're coming from Colombia, they're coming from Brazil, they're coming from all the war-torn drug nations like Colombia, where America has really had its influence. So, Honduras, places like that, places we've literally destroyed and turned into third world countries. That's why they're coming here. It's also why they're some of the hardest fucking people on the planet, and they can make this trek, is because they've been toughened up by decades of American imperialism. I mean, the kids that are coming across were born into American imperialism. All the young adults were born into American imperialism. And like I was saying in the chat, Allegheny immigration law has been working with the Biden administration and Ron DeSantis since February 2022 to bring in 100,000 Ukrainian refugees, many of which I'm betting are Azov Nazis, into our country.
Mm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And they haven't talked about it since they brought the first family over. And that's, I'm betting, because a lot of these people are Azov Nazis, so they're not vetting. And we have seen Azov Nazis protesting at places like Disney World, so we know they're here on the coast. So they're absolutely bringing them in from every direction, but the one they're talking about most is the southern border. And I'm betting that 40,000 missing kids is actually a low ball at this point.
Little Lisa says, so what the fuck do I need a passport for? As a Canadian, I should at this point just be able to walk across the border.
Yeah, because of the North American Union Act, you absolutely should, but they still make money. Why do Americans have to go to the DMV to get a license, even though we're automatically granted freedom of travel by our inalienable rights? It's because they can make money off you, and it's one way to track.
Hi, Marnie Slater. See you coming here, babe. You know what? All right, Anon. We are going to continue this conversation because this is deep. This is a very deep topic. When international law means absolutely nothing, and the difference between application of law, again, this is like I said in the description of the broadcast, what is good for the goose is not good for the gander, and it's not right. It has not been right for a long time. You know what I'm saying? All right.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. If people knew the law versus what was actually applied, like licensing is a crime. Licensing is an absolute crime because it prevents your freedom of movement and your freedom of privacy. If an agency or a state agency automatically knows where you are any portion of the day, I mean, that right there is a crime. Thank you, Nish.
Oh, boy, oh, boy. Boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. All right, Mr. Anon. You got to say something positive on your way out of here because we've been talking about some heavy, heavy shit, dude. Really, we have been talking about some heavy shit.
You know, I'm having a hard week. I think we're all having a pretty hard time right now. But if you just go above what you normally do and just do for something, you'll be all right. I'm pretty tired, though.
Anon, I appreciate you for being on our team too. Thank you for everything that you've shared with us tonight and the discussion between you and I and everybody else, all these brainiacs up here. Dude, again, I cannot thank them enough for being open-minded enough to even be here.
Oh, no,
you know what I'm saying?
Sorry about last week.
Okay, my friend. I will catch you another day, another way. You stay safe, and next Wednesday, we'll peel this banana right back again and open it up for everybody to know on. Okay?
Take it easy, guys.
All right, man. Peace out. Check it easy. Check. Out of here. I would blow him out of here, but I don't have. You know what? I do. Hang on a second. Yeah, usually, just ready? Here we go. Two more. All right, man. Ladies and gentlemen, our NASAnon. Oh, man. When international law means absolutely shit, the difference in a law application between those that commit the crime and or those that expose the crime. Bada boom, bada bing. It is what is good for the goose is needing to be good for the gander. I'm not just the one that's subjective to it. They are as well. And again, it started like I was saying early in the broadcast. If you are an ABC and you're listening to me, please wake the fuck up, Fred, because you have the ability to fix it. You do. You absolutely do. What I mean by fix it? Stand up, speak out. Okay? By doing that, you have no idea how many fucking people have got your back. And it's not with a knife in it. It is you took an oath to defend and protect us people globally. It is your job. It is your duty. It is your life-given oath, man. So if you see something, say something. Please. We see this motherfucker busting from the inside out. And it starts with you. We've got your back. We are on the outside looking in. We're not on the inside looking out. But I assure you, hopefully with this broadcast, it should have reached over 1 million fucking people. You have got support, man. You really do. Friday night, guys. Friday night, we'll be talking with Mr. Brad Olson, who is a whistleblower as well. Well, not a whistleblower. Just ufology, Egyptology, anthropology, you name it. If it's got a BB to it, Brad's the guy. Friday night, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 9 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock. You can't stand our ass time, and we love you for it. Good night, everybody. Share this broadcast, share this podcast. That is the only way this happens. Okay? Good night, everybody. Take care. We'll see you on Friday night. Peace out. Let's get the hell out of here, guys. Bye.
Yeah. Let's do this.
One of the fastest growing talk shows on the internet. Welcome aboard the Matrix Minds. One of the most controversial conspiratorial shows on the web. The Matrix Minds. And that's right. Buckle up, everybody. Let's go. Paranormal, huh? Conspiracy, huh? Ufology. Brainiacs. Egyptology. Good night, Miss Morgan Roundtree. And anything and everything we can get our hands on. Let's go. Miss Blanche Taylor. Good night, baby. Miss Bevin. Good night. Good night, good night, good night. Miss Lisa Thompson. Miss Lisa Thomas. Damn it. Airbrush Michelle. Mr. Socrates Black. Larry Hawkins.
Take the blues millions.
You guys are
Story ends.
absolutely fucking amazing.
Your bed and believe whatever you want.
Good night, Miss Tina
Take the
Daly.
red pill. You stay in Wonderland.
Miss Karen
Show you
Kerfoot.
how deep the rabbit
Mr. Shane Scott. Yeah, bro.
hole. All I'm offering is the
George Overton.
stay in Wonderland.
You guys keep kicking them fucking doors, man. They're coming
Stay in
down, no
Wonderland.
doubt. No doubt.
All I'm offering is the
Matrix Minds audio backtracks by Richard Roller from Victoria, Australia. All of your audio needs, audio creation, audio editing for the podcast, for movies, outright music creation, touch-based productions. Contact Richard Roller at richardroller007@gmail.com.
Hey everybody, Austin here with Colorado Custom Game Calls. Are you looking for a game call for your upcoming season? Are you looking for something unique? Are you looking for a gift for the hunter in your life? Well, look no further, we got you covered. At Colorado Custom Game Calls, you get to put your own twist on these calls. Whether it's waterfowl hunting, big game hunting, predator, or turkey, we got you covered. So be sure to hit us up on our Facebook and Instagram or on the web at coloradocustomgamecalls.com.
What is up, all my beautiful and gorgeous souls? I am Michelle Espinosa, otherwise known as the Shaman, through the Matrix Mind Media. So tell me, how many times have you wished that you had that special power of prediction? You know, to know what was going to happen before it actually happened and took place. To have some power and control over that situation before things came flying at you out of left field. The thing is, you actually can have that power. You can be aware of what's coming. Tune in to Astrology TV with me for Breaking the Cage. Every Sunday evening at 10 p.m. Eastern on the Matrix Mind Media. And I will go through the astrology and help put you on the right course and get you back in control of your own life. Love you guys.
This CBD fluid is a whole flower fluid extracted from the cannabis flower. We don't use any heat, butane, or chemicals when we extract, so we get all of the components of the plant. All the CBD, CBG, CBA, all the terpenes, all the flavonoids. This allows our body to absorb at 60 to 90% rather than the average of 6 to 10% absorption you would get with a CBD oil. Because our bodies are made up of mostly water and this is a fluid, it's highly absorbable so that you're getting 500% more nutraceuticals per dose. We also have this available in our CBD spray as well as a muscle rub with all kinds of botanicals. You're going to absolutely love it.
Check it out, Brainiacs. MatrixMinds.live/CBD. The CBD I use. Feel free again. Feel alive again. Need you guys, every single one of you guys, if you got it in your heart and if you've enjoyed this broadcast does not, absolutely does not, and will not happen without you. So please think about it. Smash that subscription button up top. It is literally a cup of mocha is Starbucks. Number one, save yourself from that shit toxicity at least once a month. Man, smash that broadcast button, the subscribe button up top, and help me, help you, as well as everybody else, support the broadcast as long as we possibly can. Again, it literally is telling Facebook, you want this broadcast, you like this broadcast, you support it. This is your show, man. It is 100% supported by you, and it's gonna remain that way, whether they like it or they don't. It's just simply, and that's the way it's gonna be.